Hi, everyone. Welcome to T-Stop T-Talk.
Yeah.
I'm Marco Gutierrez,
And I am Anthony Mack.
and we are here to talk about motion picture gear.
Yeah, motion picture gear and all the latest tea
All
that's
the
going
tea
on in the
and
industry.
That's right. That's right.
Oh my god. So to start off this, Marco, what tea are you drinking?
I was just about to talk about that. Yeah, I've got some pretty simple mint green tea, and you got Nessie over there.
Yeah, I got Nessie over here steeping my raspberry black tea.
Oh man. Okay, well
Let's
let's dive into a couple things.
Let's dive into it. First up.
We're gonna do mobile because you've got
Mobile.
your
Yes. So I've actually just got into the mobile filmmaking scene, as it is now, with the iPhone 14 and the 15 and all these other smartphones that have amazing cameras. And I was like, this seems to be a pretty viable thing right now, at least for like smaller productions or just vloggers, or you're going out on a weekend trip or like travel vlogs and all that. And so I decided to grab the DJI Osmo 6. I paired it with my iPhone 14 Pro, and Blackmagic actually just released what they call the Blackmagic Camera App, which essentially turns your phone into
and regardless of how you feel about Blackmagic, this is actually kind of a fun app, especially because it's free.
Exactly. It's completely free. It gives you full manual control over all your camera settings that you would ever want. ISO, white balance, shutter, all that. Only thing you can't change is your f-stop because
it's an iPhone, right? It's a fixed f-stop.
Or locked in. But yeah, it essentially turns your phone into a pretty powerful mobile filmmaking device. So you pair that with a gimbal and you can get you some pretty good shots. So I was like, let's see what we can do with this thing. So got into that. I'm actually going to be, and the reason I picked it up now is because I'm actually in probably, September now? Coming over. In about 3 months, I'm going to be going to Portugal for my honeymoon.
Yeah. Oh, congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. So I definitely will be bringing this along and seeing, putting it through its paces, seeing everything that it can do.
Yeah, and for vloggers and people just getting into filmmaking, this is a fantastic tool.
Exactly.
It's very affordable. Like I know I'm giving away my age here, but I'm still blown away with how accessible, good quality video products are, especially because this is something that you don't have to go out and get. This is something that everybody just kind of happens to have with them.
Exactly, yeah. With the advent of smartphones and all that they can do, and not even really phones. You can look at all the action cams that they have as well. The DJI Action, the GoPros, the Insta360 cams, all these little bitty cameras that aren't that much money are getting you pretty good quality. So it's like, why not put it through its paces and see what it can do? If it can be comparable with the bigger Hollywood style cams that they have out there now. And like, I'm surprised that we'll probably jump into this a little bit later, but like with the DJI Inspire cameras, I remember when the Inspire 2 came out, and it was, I can't remember if it was the X5S or the X7 that they did the test on, but one of the two, they put it up against an Arri Alexa.
Right.
Yeah, they put it up against an Arri Alexa Classic, and it resolved pretty much the same as the Arri Alexa.
Yeah.
So you've got a little micro four thirds sensor,
which is a great sensor, by the way.
Yeah.
I know. I personally absolutely hate the term crop sensor. And all that
crop
stuff
factor and all that. It's like, why?
First of all, it's complete BS, and we can get into a whole subject of why that is. But this is the physical size of the sensor. That's what it is. There is no crop. Because that's the size it is.
Yep.
The term full frame is very misunderstood.
And it also came from the stills world.
That's right. And, I know there's some people that are going to tell me it's like, well, shooting in 3:2, which, by the way, full frame is technically a 3:2 aspect ratio, which is, it's good for photography, but terrible for video. Although some people will say, well, that's how they shoot vertical video. But that's not even an excuse anymore because of, the different solutions that are out there.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah. So, like I said, mobile video or mobile filmmaking, as I dubbed it.
Right, mobile filmmaking. That's exactly what it is.
Exactly.
And it's great for documentaries. A lot of YouTubers, of course.
Yeah, exactly. And one thing that I am excited for, and I know Apple's always late to the game, so I'm pretty sure other phones have done this in the past as well. Mm-hmm. But the fact that you can shoot Apple ProRes log and just have it output from the new USB-C port on the 15 Pros straight to an SSD or an SD and all that, so you're not worrying about taking up your phone storage, and you still have full 100% cinema quality coming that on a hard drive that you can just plug right into a computer, right into whatever your editor of choice, and have footage that's
ready to go.
That's ready to go. It looks good, and it's ready. You've got full grading potential and all that.
I know there's going to be people out there that are going to say, well, it's not a real camera. And, well, I mean, technically it is. It's not going to replace your large sensor cameras, but...
what is a real camera?
That's the thing. That's really what it comes down to. And by the way, the word cinema, for those of you who are wondering, this is the way I have come to describe it. It really only means, because it's actually a word that's been in use a lot longer than people think it has in terms of equipment. It really means moving image. That's really it. That's all it means. So there is, from marketing and a lot of YouTubers for sure, they like to use it as a way to refer to quality. And in this case, I think that's true because of the better processing that's come out with the iPhone 15 and even a lot of other smartphones, not just the iPhone. That's really all it means. It does not mean that you're going to automatically get theatrical distribution.
And of course there is a certain cinema look, but that's just because.
That's what it's even hard to describe this with what do you call it, with film cameras too, because film stocks were different and the way cinematographers would shoot it is also different. But essentially, if you shot film stock in its most basic form, that is the quote-unquote basic cinema look.
Yeah, exactly. The basic.
But of course, if you're a cinematographer, then you, even when you were shooting film, you were going to do things to alter the image.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's just and yes, you can have all the people that have all the LUT packs and the this, that, and the other, and just throw this on your footage, and it looks cinema. And
so don't ask us for LUT packs. Get out there and experiment on your own.
But trust me, a LUT thrown on any old footage doesn't necessarily always look good. You have to still know how to shoot that footage to be able to properly drop that LUT on. And even when you still, after you drop the LUT, you still have to tweak every so often, like pump this up a little bit. Is never just a one and done type thing. As we've experimented with the DJI LUTs and Blackmagic.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
they look completely.
Did not work out quite right.
Well, and also the fact that they haven't updated that LUT packet. I don't know how long. It's still just like Phantom 4 LUTs on there. So
just a little bit behind.
So I don't know if it's Blackmagic or DJI that's making them, but y'all need to get on that. Update that.
But I do like this sort of emerging world.
Emerging technology,
right?
Mobile filmmaking.
Mobile filmmaking, which it very much is. The longer battery life now with more storage, which were two of the big limiting factors with trying to use that as any kind of a camera.
Exactly, yeah. And there are so many different accessories and cages and all types of things that you can adapt this to
Zacuto actually just came out with one that's pretty neat that turns it into a handheld rig.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Nice.
So we'll probably throw that up on the screen or something. But.
Oh, yeah, throw it up and just to see what it's like.
Yeah, it's it's unique.
Yeah, and one thing that actually I never thought I would see once the mobile filmmaking thing started was that there are lenses that are on the camera that are what the camera sees. I never thought that you could add other lenses on top of that and get a different look. I thought that with that lens being there, the wide angle, the telephoto, the 28 to 70 or whatever, if you put another lens on top of it, that would just essentially double or triple whatever the original lens has on it. Because I come up in a world where you take one lens off and you put another lens on. You don't stack lenses on top of each other.
Which admittedly, because I know I can hear people saying this, yes, there will be image segregation quality when you do that.
Yeah.
But again, for the market that this is designed for. Here, let's pull it up front so that people can see it.
Okay.
Yeah, there it is. For the market that this camera is really designed for, I think it's a neat option that will expand the capabilities of this type of camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can bring him back now.
Okay.
Otherwise, we're going to remain in autofocus. And yeah, Anthony and I can have a whole conversation on being out of focus, which we are right now, which is why we don't like autofocus.
That didn't drag us back to it.
It didn't.
Let's find us.
Get it to
lock on.
Something. Oh, there you go. Okay.
There we go. Back good.
Yeah. Now we're back. For those of you who wonder why Anthony and I don't like autofocus, this is why.
That's the reason. That's the reason right there. It's never as good as a human.
Right. Because it doesn't know a lot of times.
Yep. I mean, it does its best to do, and when you're in wide scenes where you're kind of getting everything and like it's okay, but if you're like, I want to go from this cup here to the top of this laptop to this point right here, it's not that finite.
Right.
And it doesn't know when to,
It doesn't know when to do it either.
Exactly.
There was a, I'll call it a discussion that I got into with Philip Bloom, which I don't know if he was trying to be a troll or not or whatever he was, but whatever was happening, I mean, he's who he is.
Yeah.
Somebody had asked a question about whether Hollywood uses autofocus or not. And there are systems that Anthony and I use in these bigger productions that are kind of like autofocus, but they're very specific. Focus bug, for one thing, they have little sonar packs that you give to the talent, and that will track back to the camera. There's a lot of focus aids, of course. I know Ari and Preston both have their system for that, but like I said, this is a whole... Yeah,
it's a whole...
It's a whole topic about things you can and can't do with autofocus. Now, for documentary filmmakers and run-and-gun filmmakers and even corporate filmmakers, autofocus is great. It still has some problems. Back when I was still a Steadicam operator, I was doing a corporate gig where we had to do a Steadicam shot, and the camera just didn't know where. It was one person in front of the camera. This was not a difficult lighting setup or anything, and we weren't moving. I wasn't doing this big one or anything. It was just a simple shot, and they just couldn't find it.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
And as you were saying that, it just popped in my head that we're not saying autofocus is bad. It has its place in the filmmaking world.
It really does.
But the thing is this. When it is bad, or the times that it is bad, it's bad for a very specific reason. And that reason is that in filmmaking, along with your actors and your dialogue and your scenes and costumes and all that other stuff, your sound, you use focus to tell a story.
That's absolutely true.
That is part of the story making process.
I think that's what a lot of YouTubers when they're talking about, autofocus, whenever they get the sample reviews and everything, it's like, yeah, this new autofocus is probably better than last gen. But one thing that they keep missing consistently is the fact that it is, like you said, part of the story.
Exactly. And that's why autofocus is good, like you said, for corporate gigs or documentary or run and gun and all that, because in those scenarios, you're more just, I want to see what I'm looking at.
Mm-hmm.
But when you jump on a film set and you have a shot in a bedroom, you're looking down, you're down on the floor looking up at someone sitting on the bed, and then you rack focus from their face to the edge of the night table that's in front of them, and it has a gun or something on it. You just told, and they look over and you rack focus as they look to it. You just help tell a bit of that story with that focus pull.
Right. And the speed of the focus pull is also important. So even though you can do the little touch screen thing where you can touch here and touch here, the speed at which it's going to change that rack focus may not be what you want it to be. Sometimes it needs to be instant. Sometimes it needs to be gradual. Especially if you're trying to reveal something.
Yeah. So I think that's the biggest takeaway from this.
And it varies within the scenes.
It varies. Yeah.
So it's not like you can preset it, because sometimes within that same shot, that focus speed and
the actor will move a little bit slower, a little bit quicker, and all that. Yeah. And so I think that
you
the
have
main
to
takeaway,
emotionally respond to it.
Yeah. The main takeaway is focus is a part of the storytelling process.
Absolutely.
In cinema, which is why autofocus doesn't necessarily work all the time in cinema.